And let's return now to our top story, Israel's war in Gaza, and bring back in James Elder, the UNICEF spokesperson, who's standing by in Rafah for us. James, I'm glad you're back, and I hope we have a better audio condition, because I want to ask you, you've been in Rafah in Gaza for about a week now. Just in general, what have you seen, and how does it, compare to what you saw when you were there last?
It's utterly dire, Kристиан. It shouldn't be surprising how much worse things are now, because, of course, I haven't been here for 2 months, and in the last 2 months, it's been that relentless bombardment, a ferocious bombardment. I thought I understood what the bombs were like. The proximity is such that it's like someone banging pots next to your head. The drones, the attack drones, are like a lawnmower. This is every day for 250 days. When I was in Al-Aqsa Hospital on Tuesday, Kристиан, with doctors walking over children missing limbs, with horrendous burns like we saw earlier in your program, children who urgently need medical attention outside but cannot get it. And if they cannot get it, they will die. And at the same time, we will have more bombardments tonight. On top of that, these last 2 months, continual restrictions and denials of aid, meaning you have a nutritional crisis on the ground, a lethal lack of water, 1 or 2 litres per day, a shower every 2 weeks, grandmothers and teenage girls, Kристиан, queuing up all day for a shower. So we've had 2 more months of that. So the physical and psychological capacity of people has been smashed, and they are just holding on, and I mean just holding on. Yes, there is hope. Gazans are amazingly resilient. There is a spirit I've not seen before, but I've also had far too many young people say to me, Kристиан, that they don't mind if a missile hits their tent, they're done. And that is harrowing, but that is indicative of just how bad things are here after 250 days of this.
Wow, it's horrible to hear children saying something as awful as that, and as final as that. I don't know whether you heard our first guest talking about aid and needing to get aid into Gaza. And you know about the government having, or somebody in Israel having called for a tactical pause, and then the Prime Minister saying he didn't know anything about it, and no, they're not letting up in their fighting. What is coming in, if anything?
Yeah, not nearly enough. And it's so important. It's such a good question. We have to go beyond statements. We must look at evidence on the ground. Enough of this he said, she said. We must look at the simple facts on the ground. And if we look at a few things, many less crossings open than previously. So areas in the north, what they advocated for is closed. Rafah, Kристиан, the lifeline for humanitarian aid, has not been open since that offensive started on the 6th or 7th of May. Remembering that was a so-called limited offensive. That limited offensive, quote unquote, has led to 1 million more people having to leave, go from their homes onto rubble, and then pick up their tents from rubble and leave somewhere else. So there's that humanitarian crossing is shut. Even when we seek to get aid in, the key thing to remember is it's not just about getting it in, and there's far too little coming in. That's why we have an unprecedented nutrition crisis for the youngest children in Gaza. It's about a safe place, an enabling way to deliver that aid, to go north to south, and that remains the responsibility of the occupying power, of Israel. And there is a reason why we have such shortages of water, of medicines, of food, of all the things that people need. I've seen denials of so many things. Kристиан, I've had a woman outside a hospital a few days ago come to me in tears. Her husband, a missile had hit their home, her husband had been killed, she had her 2 children in tears, just asking for a tent. This denial of dignity. We have just gone so far beyond, and it's so wildly disconcerting that still people somehow justify, excuse away the killing of so many children.
James, Yair Golan, the new head of the Labour Party, along with other Israeli officials, have basically said, there just isn't there aren't the internationals to be able to safely and properly and efficiently distribute aid, that they're pushing it all up to the border, but you guys aren't able to do it. You guys say, well, that's not the case because here we are and we're not actually getting the aid in and so much is being turned back. What are the actual facts? I mean, if aid was coming in, do you have even the infrastructure to deliver it?
So yes, exactly the facts. Thank you, Kристиан. So In May, the United Nations got half the number of trucks in from April, already when we are dealing with children with an imminent famine from the most respected nutrition body on the planet. So half the number of trucks. There are less crossings now than several months ago. Errors in the north, Rafah here, the pier is no longer functional. So they are the facts. When aid comes in, yes, absolutely. I have incredibly brave colleagues from UNRWA, the backbone of the United Nations, UNICEF with our nutrition, our water, our medicines. I've been on those missions that have been denied and seen horrendous acts on those missions. So yes, we have the capacity. Granted, it is a very dangerous place to work. We've seen more United Nations colleagues killed in the last 8 months than in any war since the advent of the United Nations. But no, we are absolutely ready to. But we have now seen scores and scores, not a handful, scores and scores of denials and restrictions and delays. That is the reality. That is what we are combating. And we want to move away from a war of words with simple facts. And we are absolutely ready to deliver. And we will continue to do that. But those restrictions are very real. And those restrictions are costing lives.